Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Code Live with Google Cloud, the databases season. I am here, still your Java developer advocate, Aaron Wanjala, and today I am joined by my friend and teammate, Luke Schlangen, and we have a wonderful topic. I'm excited to cover it. Maybe you've seen our posts on social about it. So, Luke, what are we talking about today?
Yeah, today we're talking about Next.js and Firebase. So we're going to deploy some stuff. We are going to make it real and get it out into the world, not just working on our computer. We're going to try to use idx.dev, which I'm new-ish to, but I'm excited about. So we're going to go that direction because you said it's okay if we maybe don't do everything perfectly and flawlessly in this live session. To prove that it's live, I promise to make mistakes.
Absolutely. Right. Yeah, I appreciate that. We called it Coding Live, and I think that's valuable, the good, bad, and the ugly. I think IDX is cool. I have seen their beautiful webpage, but yeah, why don't we jump right into it?
Yeah, and just a quick intro. I'm Luke. I'm the JavaScript developer advocate. So we have but a script between us, and that is the difference in our titles and what we focus on a day-to-day basis for those whom I have not met yet. So yeah, I am happy to jump in and just get started coding. Do we want to share screen and then go for it?
Yeah, take us away.
All right. So yeah, here is idx.dev. If you'd like to follow along, this is now GA. I was trying not to use it in any of my demos until after it went GA, but now that it is GA, I am diving in head first, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. If for those watching the live stream, I've got a plan for how we're going to deploy our Next.js app and then add Firestore to it. But if you have like special requests for like things you want to see after that, because we are doing a Next.js app, we've kind of got the world is our oyster. We could add Vertex AI to it. We could change up the front end. We could do some styling. We've got a whole bunch of different directions that we could take it. Yeah, let us know what you're interested in. I will also. I don't know if you you do this, Aaron, but I love to get random words from folks so that I can throw those in so that people know that we are doing this live. So Kaslin is joining. Hi, Kaslin. Thank you so much for hopping in. If you have like a random word for us, throw that our way. Potato and watermelon feel random, I know, and so does taco, but those are ones that are already randomly in the back of my mind. So if those are yours, pick a different one, and we'll go ahead and go a different direction.
That is interesting. We don't usually do that, but sounds great. And yeah, please in the chat, please do feel free to chime in. Very much encouraged here, and yeah, dig deep because we have an experienced random word acceptor here. So.
That's great. Yeah, I am not a terrific random word generator, but random word acceptor. There you go. That's a new byline for the link for LinkedIn. Cool. All right, we'll go ahead and dive in. We'll create a Next.js app. What do you maybe without folks in the chat getting their random words in quite yet? I'll take a couple of your random words, Aaron. What do you got for me here?
You know what? What's on my mind right now is your website, which it's in your bio there. You have like a wonderful, like short form, long form, like bio kind of site. I don't know if you want to make it like a portfolio site, a speaker page. That's kind of where my head is at right now.
Yeah. We'll do a speaker page.
Idempotent. Interesting.
Page. And then we'll add the word idempotent to it. Oh no, I've exceeded the character limit.
We can drop page. I think it'll be obvious it's a page. Thanks, Dan.
There we go. Cool. All right, good.
I'll show that on the screen in case you missed it.
Yeah, thank you, Dan. Appreciate that. Okay, so what's going on right now is it's spinning up our Next.js application. This is similar to if you were to spin it up from the CLI. So create Next.js app. So if you were to spin it up from the CLI with one of these commands, npx or yarn or pnpm or bunx. So this is essentially the command. It's running, and then we've essentially hit yes on all of these things. We're going to use all of these things. So we're going to use the source directory. We're going to use Tailwind. We're going to use ESLint. We're going to use TypeScript. So we've basically said yes to all of these, and it's spun up our application here. So it's created this rough outline, and it's installing our node modules with JavaScript. That's the thing that always takes the longest.
Yeah.
But once we get those spun up, we'll be able to get rolling, and it should open a preview over on the right-hand side as well. So
looks like a very familiar like Thea VS Code based code editor. So yeah, feels
yes,
great.
absolutely.
As far as working with the terminal, you're probably getting to this, but if I was to launch or to run something locally, quote unquote locally, is that experience pretty smooth here? Oh, it's got a
Yes,
web.
it is. So if it's a project that IDX already understands, so it understands Next.js projects, so it's just going to spin it up and put that over on the side here. If it's a different kind of project, so say you're using a language that is not supported out of the box by IDX, you can run your own scripts and commands the same way through your terminal. So any way you can spin it up locally, you can spin it up here in idx.dev. It's just install what you need and go ahead and start running it. So it's pretty slick. And then, yeah, whatever port it starts up on, you can click it. You can also open it in another tab here. So if I wanted to get more real estate here, I could close this tab and open it here and then do it like that. So yeah, a lot of flexibility in that.
Interesting. We also have more words in the chat here from Caslin.
Thank you, Caslin.
Another teammate. Fireworks, gift, lemon, lightning, basketball. Gift indeed, Caslin. Thank you. It's a good collection.
Perfect. Caslin and I spent a couple of minutes today on a team call where we played Hanabi. So fireworks, top of mind for me as well. Yeah,
Nice.
That's great. Cool. Where do you want to start, Aaron? Do you want to start with cleaning some of this out so that we can see more? Do you want to jump right into setting up and connecting to the database? Do you want to deploy our application?
I
We go
think
all different ways.
what I'd like to see, well, maybe we should zoom in a little bit, just make sure it's nice
Yeah, good call.
and
Thank
visible
you.
on small screens. And then, yeah, I think maybe clearing out some of the, like what I'm sure is very helpful boilerplate, and then we can kind of clear our canvas and get thinking.
Cool. Do you think, just for screen real estate, do you think we want to have this on the side, or do you want to do?
I think a separate tab is better. I'm assuming there's a hot reload and that it looks amazing when we have it, but just to maximize real estate, I think we go separate tabs.
Sense. Cool. All right, let's go ahead and start clearing this out then. We'll start in page.tsx. So page.tsx is where that homepage lives, and we'll just clear out everything inside of our main here, and we'll clear out these classes as well so that none of that gets added. This is Tailwind, which Aaron, I think you're a little familiar with here, but just in case folks haven't seen it, it's just a whole bunch of default classes that exist for us. Utility classes is what they're called. Yes. And then from there, you can kind of mix and match those to create complicated buttons or whatever you want to create. So I really like Tailwind, but just so that we're starting with something simple. So there it is. And I'm going to...
Makes sense. Nothing up your sleeve.
Yeah, exactly. It does feel like a magic trick. So it does feel like, yeah, nothing on my sleeve. Let's clear this out as well. So here you'll see that it was a black background. We're going to see if we can turn this white. Yeah, there we go. So maybe a little bit of burning retinas there, but...
Yeah. Okay, and I'm seeing that this is a CSS file, but I'm seeing like a lot of functions being used as if it's Sass. Am I misinterpreting those functions, or is that is Next doing some? Oh, Tailwind is doing some work for us beforehand.
Tailwind is doing some work for us, but actually this is more a credit to, I think these are all just regular CSS. Oh, okay. Layer CSS. CSS has been going wild lately, where it's just adding a ton of things to CSS itself.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, this is just CSS, plain old CSS. And it's got media queries and layer. Layer I haven't seen before.
So. Layer is kind of new to me, but no, I thought I saw some like calculations being done, but maybe I just didn't read those functions quickly enough.
No, so, yeah, CSS does calculations, so this is all CSS as well.
Yeah,
and
no, that looks normal. Interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of wild what CSS can do. Like, I don't want to say the words back in my day today, but like that's kind of how it feels. It's like back in my day, we didn't have any of this fancy stuff.
That is fair.
Yeah, it's pretty magical. And because this template has been generated so many times, it's kind of interesting. If I just leave my cursor here, yeah, Gemini is hard at work saying, hey, don't you want to let people choose what they want to see and based on their preferences, show them a dark background or a light background? But no, that's not what we're going to do today. We're just going to burn everyone's retinas with this beautiful
So yeah,
Wow, especially hopping back and forth between the black and the white. Maybe we keep it.
it's a sharp contrast. Yeah, maybe we turn it to a different, like a lighter gray or something like that. But yeah, wow, I didn't even notice that Gemini was already already integrated in the IDE here.
And I do think maybe I enabled it the first time. So the first time, maybe I had to go up here to the Gemini logo and enable it. But
Okay.
yeah, it's up and running. It's every time I jump into IDX, it's ready to go and offering suggestions. So hopefully it'll provide some cool fast forwards for us today.
Yeah, cool.
All right, so we've got an empty page. What do we want to do next?
I think we dig right into the audience, the word cloud that we've got growing here. So
just throw in an H1.
Yeah, and just make sure, in the spirit of keeping our app deployable, we want to make sure we're using all these ideas for as much time as possible. And yeah, I don't know if we want to take it in the direction of, on your website you have like the different like versions of your bio that like I think is really cool. Fun little thing to poke around at.
Yeah. So to clarify what's going on here.
Yeah.
He's referring to this, which took me way too long. But essentially, you can click around and go to all these different routes in these pages, and they show different things and their different customizations. We can. So like any good developer, this is it's a very hacky profile site. So I don't necessarily want to go down this rabbit hole because it's not maybe how I would recommend people pursue this, but we can pursue maybe something where we have multiple pages and multiple routes.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. Do a little bit of routing. Maybe you have a interesting. Maybe we want to convert some of these words to emojis.
Ooh, convert words to emojis.
Yeah, that seems like something that could be interesting, could be fun.
So maybe we have a database, and the database stores like the emoji name and then like a list of strings that we want to be converted. Like if you see this string, convert it to this emoji.
We could do that.
Okay.
Yeah, interesting.
Sure.
Interesting. Like when I think about converting words to icons, like I'm actually thinking more like an icon library. We could do that, but I think emojis are more fun visually.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe we walk at that for a little bit and see if something more interesting pulls us off the path.
Cool. All right. Well, let's while we're kind of noodling on that, do we want to go ahead and get this deployed?
Yeah, let's see if we can. Let's get the first version out there.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to create a brand new repository, and we will call it, of course, Lemon Lightning. Lemon Lightning. Based on Kaslin's suggestions there, we'll go ahead and make it public so that people can view the wonderful source code that we're going to have after this.
Very important.
And we will, I don't think we have Git initialized here. Yes, we do not. Ooh, publish to GitHub.
Interesting.
Yeah, let's allow this. And
yeah.
Cool. Sweet. Connecting to GitHub. That was really slick.
Pretty quick an authentication process.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. So it made a brand new repository based on my project name. So it is not Lemon Lightning that we will be using. We will be using Speaker Idempotent.
Interesting.
All right, cool. Right. So we've got Lemon Lightning still in the bag for later.
Yeah,
we want to use those.
Preserved. Fantastic. Okay, that was quick, and that was. So this is still a private repository, or did you make it public?
Yeah, it should be public. Let's see. I'll copy it, open an incognito window, and check it there.
No, it is public. Fantastic.
So feel free if folks want to follow along. I'll say post a comment, and I don't know if that will go anywhere.
There it is.
So there's the GitHub repo if people want to dig into the code. Right now, essentially just the base Next.js application, and then we cleaned out what's inside of the main tag here.
Yeah, you're right, Dan. You're going to keep us honest. We will have to keep this item potent as we go. I don't believe that the operation of publishing to GitHub could be repeated without side effects, but we'll get there.
That's great. Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to think about that as well.
Yeah.
If you have ideas, Dan, let us know. We'll start to add functionality. Maybe first we deploy it. We'll add some functionality and redeploy it. Mm-hmm. Kaslin apparently was on the same wavelength as you, Aaron, when she was looking at those
emoji words. Page. Hey.
Absolutely. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and get this deployed.
Let's do it.
I think to make things fun, we'll try deploying it to 2 different places. So we'll deploy it to Firebase app hosting.
Okay.
And the one thing I do kind of have up my sleeve is I did create a project before we started. So I created a Google Cloud project and added billing, because that is not most.
How dare you rob us of the experience of connecting a billing account?
I know. The level of excitement is just absolutely wild, that billing account connection. But no, I did rob you of that. You're right. So you'll have to settle for that's the one thing I had up my sleeve, is we created that project beforehand.
Fair enough. I think that's a fair concession. And yeah, Dan, please do distract us. That is exactly what we're hoping for. We're hoping to get the base point across and then take us wherever's interesting. And we're already closing in pretty quick on getting an app deployed. So we're going to need your suggestions pretty soon.
Yeah. So here, app hosting is something new from Firebase. It works with Next.js and Angular apps. And I'm going to say get started. And then we'll import a GitHub repository. And what's great about, we just created this, and hopefully we should be able to pull in our GitHub repository into Firebase app hosting. This takes me longer than it would take most people, because I have just created an absurd number of repositories.
Yeah.
But I will click through this acceptance here, and we'll use my user account right there. So I think I connected that up before. If this is your first time, you would probably have to set that up.
Fair enough. And as you're going through here, this is, to be clear, not to be confused with regular Firebase static hosting. This is framework specific hosting. So is there a difference there for us to be aware of?
Yes. So with Firebase hosting, which is different from Firebase app hosting, Firebase hosting accepts static files. So you can deploy React applications. You just need to build it into a static file. And in fact, you can do that with Next.js applications as well, assuming you haven't added a whole bunch of backend code. It might throw an error if you've added backend code and then try to compile it to static. But yes, you can deploy React and Vue and Angular all to hosting. And then app hosting for now is specific to Next.js and Angular, and allows you to deploy Angular server-side rendered applications as well. And the list is out there somewhere for what it will support. Let's see. I think Next.js was next on the list for Firebase app hosting.
That is a good distinction, because I've deployed many Angular apps through the static hosting by compiling them down into a single page application and then throwing the folder up there. But being able to do the SSR on Firebase is a cool new feature. Okay.
Yeah, and even here, the Nuxt documentation isn't using Firebase app hosting, which makes sense because Firebase app hosting doesn't support it yet. But Firebase app hosting, let's see if I can find that list of what they support. I'll spend another 15 seconds looking at this.
Yeah, go for it. And actually, side note, as we go through this, the Firebase advocacy folks were the people who first got me into Google Cloud and showed me that advocacy is something that I find valuable. So it is interesting to come full circle to be talking about Firebase hosting here at Google Cloud. But
yeah, Jeff, the person in this video, is absolutely fantastic. I've been working with him on some stuff for Firebase app hosting. And then, of course, the team over there with David East and Puff, they're just absolutely phenomenal developer advocates. So yeah. Okay, I'm going to not, I swear the list is oh, I'm going to be so upset, because as soon as we end this call, I'm going to find that list. But yes, there's a list somewhere of what is soon to be supported. But we'll go ahead, and I've forgotten the name of our application. What is the name of our application?
Was it lemon? Was it preserved lemon?
No,
Fire-
and it wasn't lemon lightning either because
Oh,
it
item
took-
potent.
So-
Speaker item potent. Is that it?
Speaker item potent. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I gotta scroll down to that one. I don't think I can type ahead here. Speaker item. Oh, it did let me type ahead.
I thought it was like that.
All right. And we're just going to deploy from the root directory, choose a branch. We'll choose main and automatic rollouts on. I'm going to do that, which just means future deployments keep on deploying. If you want to like wait to deploy after you've successfully built your application, you can do that as well. And now we've got to name our application, and here we'll do lemon lightning.
Lemon lightning. Perfect.
Finish and deploy.
We have a question from Devonte Jeffries. If you use FL Studios to create music, what do you use Python to create? This feels like the setup to a knock knock.
Yeah.
I don't know, Devonte. What do you use Python to create?
Yeah, is that FL Studios is
Like music creation software, yeah.
short for
Fruity Loops. I think that's what it's called.
Oh, I can't remember what's the name of Google's music generator? Music
Oh, I can't remember.
generator. It's like AI Lab. Google. Music FX. For a second, I thought that's what Devonte might be referring to. I'm not sure. I don't know if that that's not something I've ever heard of, FL Studios. But here, the AI Test Kitchen, I don't know if you've seen this, but you can like make musical audio and loops. And there's like a video game for Google Cloud Next that I built with a team, and we just used this to generate the background music for that game. And it was a lot of fun.
Interesting. I have not heard of this actually. That is cool. Okay, AI, Devonte, that tracks. That's fair. For some reason I was looking for like a snake pun in my mind. I was like, are we turning a snake into a loop? I don't know. But anyways, so the deploy is going on here. So am I reading this right? It is pulling. It's like creating a like trigger from your GitHub repo to deploy the app, and that's what we're seeing the progress on here.
Yes, exactly. So it's pulling in the Next.js app, it's recognizing it as a Next.js app, and it's building it and then optimizing it and then shipping it out to Firebase's. Actually, this is specifically Google Cloud's CDN. So this is hosting it through Google Cloud CDN, which is nice because if folks are new to Firebase or kind of on the fence about it, this does use the terms of service for Google Cloud, which might not matter to indie developers or one-off developers, but to large corporations, that can be a make or break for them. So this does use Google Cloud's terms of service, which is a big deal for some folks.
Mm-hmm. For folks who have an SLA to keep, that is that is important. I wonder, since this is more on the Google Cloud side of things, do we have access to a cloud build log that would show what this optimization step is doing? Because that's very interesting to me personally.
Maybe. This is being built with Cloud Build. It is all done through, wow. Okay. I have not looked at these logs before, but yeah, it does. It does have them right here. So here are the build details.
Could we zoom in a bit? And that does look interesting. So we're using build packs. It looks like a specific Firebase app hosting build pack for each framework. That sounds interesting. I kind of want to dig through those later. It's a Next.js Firebase build pack, Firebase app hosting build pack. So cool.
And for those who are new to build packs, if you want, you can actually check out the source code for those. Google Cloud build packs. And I don't know if the Firebase ones are up here yet, but the rest of them are open source.
Yeah, I mean, we could even go to that GCRIO link. Usually those repos are open, so you are able to just go straight to the source and check out where they're hosted. Not the easiest way to view them, but yeah, it works.
Cool.
Not that we have to do that, but I just like poking around in my build steps and seeing kind of what's behind the scenes.
Yeah. Well, while we're here so this is the Google Cloud Console. While we're here, let's go ahead and create a service, and we will simultaneously deploy to Cloud Run, just to show that we can deploy to Firebase app hosting. If Firebase is something you're open to and excited about, I really love Firebase for all the things, but if you're saying like, no, everything I do has to be through the Google Cloud Console, that's where I live and that's where my company's at today, then you can do that as well. So again, I have way too many repositories, and so that loading takes a minute.
You
But
do.
once those do load, it's because I create a GitHub repository for things like this.
Yeah.
every day I'm just
Like
throwing
I have a lot of repositories, but you have a ton. And I think it's a good thing is because you keep your projects very separate, whereas I tend to reuse and recycle projects almost too much. I'll open up a project and be like, what was I doing here?
I'm going to run into speaker idempotent 4 years from now and wonder why I didn't just clean that out.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go ahead and click next. So here I've connected to GitHub. I have connected to the specific repository, and we're also going to build on that main branch. And here you can do a custom Docker file, but I'm going to use a build pack, which is what we've been talking about. Firebase uses that as well, build packs, to build this under the hood. So Next.js isn't on this list, but I happen to know that Next.js is covered within Node.js, is how this build pack works. And so is SvelteKit, and so is Nuxt.js, and so is Marco and Solid Start, and a whole bunch of others are actually, you're able to deploy them to Cloud Run. And I think Firebase app hosting is going to follow that very shortly. The difference here is that the CDN and those types of optimizations that are framework specific, those are not a part of Cloud Run. So if you want to add a CDN, you need to do that yourself.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. Yeah, that's a good distinction to know that Next is effectively a superset of those other frameworks. And so you can, is that just like architecturally that always happens, or like we bundle them together when releasing this?
So Next.js is JavaScript, and so is Node.js. Yeah. And you can run Next.js in a Node.js runtime. Oh, that might have just been more confusing, but basically because it can deploy a Node.js app, it can also deploy a Next.js app, assuming you build it in that way. So Devante, I am not that expert. So any advice on how data science relates to making video games? That was a question in the chat. I am not that expert. I'm sure there are folks within Google Cloud who do have that answer. And maybe Mark Mandel, who is typically the co-host for this show. Is he going to be here next week, Aaron? Do you know?
He may, we may see him at the end, but at any point you can reach out on socials. I was about to say the exact same thing. If it was any other episode, you would have had the perfect person on here to talk to. But I am glad that you're here. I feel like there is a connection, especially as it comes to like deploying large platform kind of games. And Mark just released a sample that was like the large global scale multiplayer sample. Just did some good work on it. We actually worked on it on a stream. So he's the person to talk to, Mark Mandel. And just glad you're here to bring some more like interest into the word cloud. We're looking to like get themes, ideas, words to, for this sample. And so if you have anything video game related to suggest here, please do. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. It's Keslin's just echoing that. Yeah, it's too bad that Mark isn't here because that is absolutely his wheelhouse. Cool. All right, let's head back. So we've got our code. We are deploying to Firebase app hosting. That should be ready shortly. This is the repo. And let's see. Yep, it's not ready yet. Not ready yet. I got excited. So here it's working through Cloud Run deployment. It's working through Firebase app hosting deployment. And maybe while we're waiting for those deployments to happen, we can go ahead and make some changes to the code, and then we'll be able to redeploy in a minute here. So I don't know if we decided what we were building. We said something maybe emoji related.
Yeah. Well, here's a mix up. How do you feel about this? We could we could ask Gemini for which emoji relates most closely to a given word, and then add that to like an emoji cloud in the app.
Oh, okay. So would we ask Gemini here, or would we hit an AI endpoint? What do you think?
We could hit like a chat, like just a text-based, like Gemini Flash, like a small model to just generate text responses, and say have like a user message predefined to be like, which emoji best fits this word, and then you send in a word, and it adds it to the cloud on the app.
Okay.
So it could be like we have a front end object that just accepts responses of like single characters or 2 characters for an emoji. Then we have a service, maybe a JS service, maybe a function that's hosted somewhere that contacts Gemini and sends back a response that is just the emoji that fits the word that you give it best.
We can absolutely do that. Do we want to? I don't know how strictly you want to stick to the script, because we told folks that we were going to talk about Firestore, but if people
yes,
care about that,
no, we should absolutely talk about Firestore. We should store. Yeah, we need to put Firestore. Maybe we should be making a record of each request here in Firestore, or maybe we should. Yeah. I think making a record of each request would be somewhat interesting, but I want to store a little bit more information in Firestore. Firestore is a great database. It's got a lot of interesting functions that I'd like to. Maybe. Okay, we got some good words from Devante as well.
Nice.
NPCs, interesting. Yeah. Why don't we? Yeah, why don't we use Firestore? Why don't we use Firestore to? We can store
people prompt Gemini to create new emojis based on certain words or characters.
Ooh, interesting. Create new emojis. I don't know. I think you could. So yes, you could do this. In a sense, they wouldn't really be like emojis in the character set sense, but you could hit. Well, I don't know if that'd be Gemini, but you could hit an image model and have it create emoji-like art images from different like combinations of different words.
I like Dan's idea. Capture a text response from users and ask Gemini to convert it to the most appropriate emoji.
I like that.
All right, let's do that.
Yeah.
Shoot. Where's the Firestore?
Where's the Firestore? So Firestore could store the chat history between the two, or like the.
Okay, so it sounds like we're going to have like some sort of text field, here. So maybe we start with that. So we're going to have some sort of input, and this is going to be the user's input text. And in React, we're going to go ahead and create a hook here. So we're going to say const. We are really trying to break Gemini here with the random words. That's what I'm realizing, is the fireworks gift thing is really throwing it for a loop.
Oh, yeah, it's trying to reason based off of that, but nothing's coming together.
Yeah, which is fair. It's assuming that we're doing something sensical or logical, and we are not. We are not, according to the words that we already have available here. So we are going to say, this is our text and set text. So here we're just going to have a nice little input box, and we're going to say use state. Perfect. That's exactly what I want. We don't need. Okay. It says it might be subject to a license. So this is pretty standard React code.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I was writing. It was kind of nice to have Gemini type ahead for me, but I'm not worried about this being subject to a license because it's pretty standard here.
Yeah.
So text and set text, and we'll say the value is going to be text. And on change, what are we going to do? We're going to take in the event and then set text to event.target.value. That's exactly what I want. Thank you, Gemini.
Perfect. So that input is going to be up to date with the variable text. Fantastic.
Yes. So it won't be all that impressive, but here we should have an input. Ooh, is it black on black? Oh no, what's going on here?
Oh,
Not happy, failed to compile. Where is our error message? Problems. Unknown rule of tailwind. I don't think that is our problem. Page.tsx failed to compile. Where is our error? Do you see a red squiggly? I do not see a red
squiggly.
Let's go ahead and see if we can npm start this separately.
Yeah. Okay.
Could not find a production build in the next directory. Oh, because I did npm start. npm dev is what I want to do.
npm run dev, yeah.
Yep, npm run dev. There we go. Okay, let's take a look at what we got here. So earlier you asked if you can see like what it would look like if it didn't pop up to the side.
Right.
And this is kind of what that would look like. So it looks like it's trying to do something on port 9000 with how it automatically spins up at the beginning.
But it's somehow lost connection there.
Yeah, lost connection. Okay. This is probably just a lack of understanding on my part.
It seems to require an import for use state. Is that what it's saying in the log?
Import use state from React. You're importing a component that needs use state. Oh, okay. This is a next thing. Yep. Okay, so you can only use state on client components. You can only use state on client components. And so I need to say use client. There we go. Okay, so we've got our wonderful input.
Interesting. Okay, and so we have a good suggestion here, or an interesting suggestion. So what if we did a Google search on a word and asked the user if the created emoji was good or not? I think that's along the lines of the generative emoji or the emoji generator, which may be more than we're looking to bite off in this session. But it is an interesting idea, like being able to generate a combination, being able to generate emojis based on a text prompt. But yeah, really, we're still thinking about what is the most interesting aspect to put into Firestore with this. We still have a bit of time before we need to get something in there. But
yeah, maybe we start with just putting things in. And I don't know if you noticed this, but our input is currently white on white text. So I am going to change this back to this just so that we can see the inputs that we're typing. So I got rid of that. We went back and forth here on whether or not we should include this body styles. And I'm just going to cut it for the moment.
There we go. There's the verdict.
Then add an input to the class. I'm going to give it a border.
A little bit more usable.
There we go.
Fair enough.
Border black. Is that the right Tailwind class? No, I'm guessing at Tailwind classes. Nope, not the right one.
Border. You can say text black because a border, would that key off text color?
Border. Is it border black? And do I need to say a certain amount? Let's see. There we go. That's what I want. Cool. So now we've got a black border that I can see here when I jump into it. Cool.
Excellent.
Okay. And now what I want to do is maybe add a button so that when oh geez, class name. This is React. Can't be class because we're already in JavaScript. Class means something else.
Right.
So we've got to call it class name. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and create a button here so that we can do some click handling. On click. We'll run some function.
Perfect.
This button will say click me. Cool. We can add some styles to this button as well. So maybe this also gets a border. Something's going on in the chat. What's going on?
Yeah, so we have another suggestion here to convert a text sentence to emojis. Yeah, for instance, we're riddles that contain a set of emojis, and we'd have to guess the word behind them. That sounds like a fun game, actually. And it actually does sound like something that I would like to store the result of. Like somebody, we supply a sentence, whether it's just the collection of words we have going, or a riddle, and then it's converted to its best emoji equivalent. Yeah, and then we store the result in Firestore, and we can pull it out and display it in like a top 10 riddles.
I think it's college humor about this, where people exclusively communicate in emoji, and I feel like that's what we're trying to create here.
I might have seen the same thing, actually.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it.
That is not the direction I thought we were going, which I suppose emphasizes the fact that we're doing this live. Yeah,
and if we pull the responses, like if we only have one Firestore instance and everybody's able to contribute sentences that it can be converted into emojis, we could have like, a little leaderboard of, interesting, of conversions, like symbol of sun and symbol of flower to sunflower. Interesting. So you mean like bidirectionally too? That would be interesting. That's a heck of an enhancement. But the interesting thing about this is that a lot of the time when I'm working with generative apps, just getting it connected to the model is 90% of the work. And then it often impresses you with how well it works after that. So if that's the direction we want to go in, I think it would be surprisingly fewer steps than we'd think from the outside.
Yeah. We still want to stay focused on the database aspect though, right? So do we want to maybe our first step is just saving a message to Firestore?
Let's do it.
And then our next step is, okay, cool. All right. So here, let's go ahead and just make sure that we're able to save things and we're able to move things to Firestore. So what do we want to do with saving things to Firestore?
Yeah, proof of concept. Let's just get this function sending a sentence into Firestore.
Cool.
We can prove that the words that our audience suggested, live in a database, and then we can see what else we can do with it. And yeah, motivational videos, absolutely. We appreciate the suggestions, so of course we're going to acknowledge them and act on them, to the best of our ability and the time.
All right, so I'm going to create a Firestore database. We're going to be in North America. And we're going to start in production mode, which is allow read, write is false.
Write if false. So you may need to open it up a bit.
Yep. Allow
which,
write if request time
is counter to security best practices. But
so what I'm going to do is switch into test mode, which allows write if timestamp is less than this date. So this is 30 days out, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a good idea.
So we'll start in test mode.
And
if we start to get spammed, we'll just shut it all down. So nobody on the live stream does that to us, and we'll go ahead and turn this off after ours is over. But we could actually add legit auth if we wanted to do that too. Yeah. So maybe we decide we might need to get to a point where we add the messages, and then we decide if we want to go the auth direction or the AI direction.
Yeah, honestly, auth is another one of my favorite features about Firebase. I love how easy it is to put things into the NoSQL databases here and take them out. But I also love how easy it is to implement Google Auth on my apps. I think every app I publish on Firebase uses the Google authentication.
Yep. It's so slick. It's like a toggle. It's a toggle. Okay, so this is going to be our messages collection, and we'll add one example here, which is going to be, what do we want? It's going to have text. Is that it for now?
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll grow it out as we go.
Yeah. It's a NoSQL database, so we can throw new properties in there as we want.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to our application. Cool. So our goal is to, and we'll write out some pseudocode. Let's see what Gemini can do for us. So we have to make a decision here because this is Next.js. If we want to be, it's Next.js and it's Firebase, which means we can post from the client or from the server.
Mm-hmm. I think we host from the server.
From the server. Okay, cool. So we will. Do we need to use the admin SDK to do that? Yes, probably. Okay. So we've got our app here. We're going to create a new file called actions.ts.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh, interesting. It labels this as Redux.
Oh, yeah. Definitely not the TypeScript icon.
Yeah.
I would not recognize that as Redux, though. That's interesting.
And let's create a function that uses the Node.js Firebase admin SDK to add a message to the Firestore database.
Mm-hmm. And then I believe Command I to get it to generate. Or maybe you have to right click and generate suggestion. It's a little different in IDX than it is in IntelliJ. Okay. Use the admin SDK. Does it have to import the admin SDK? Did it miss that step?
Yeah, so it's got that up here. Require Firebase admin. I think we'll accept this, and then we'll want to reformat it. So it'll be something like import. Yeah, initialize app, get Firestore. This looks more similar to what I want.
Yeah.
But I want to check this as well to make sure that it's right. So to initialize the app, initialize app credential cert.
So yeah, how does authentication work in this?
So server-side auth on the Firebase Firestore.
I'm assuming it'd be a service account would be the most straightforward way.
Admin SDK. Firestore overview. So we're going to want to host it or write it. Get Firestore, initialize Firestore app settings. Yeah. So this is something I think is really cool, which is I don't think we have to pass it as long as it's running in a Google Cloud environment.
Oh, interesting.
Because it will automatically pick up the
it's already
default database. Sorry, go ahead.
It's already creating all the resources. It can they're only being deployed within the context of our project. So it does make sense that it can infer that authentication. But yeah, interesting.
Yeah, all right. This is wild, but let's just const Firestore. Yeah, if I can do this without any config, it's just kind of wild.
That is wild. Usually with the initialize app, I have to pass in a whole bunch of like app credentials, which like Firebase gives me on the console, right?
Yeah, and I also wonder if this would work, if this will work here as I'm in development mode, because it has access to some environment variables like Google Cloud Project, I think.
Okay.
Let's
see.
Print env. What environment variables do we have? Google Cloud Workstations, Google Cloud Project is the one I'm looking for because that's the one I'm familiar with in other locations. Don't see that one. My screen is way too small, isn't it?
For that text a little bit. Oh, there we go. Google Cloud. No, Workstations. True. Never mind.
Workstations. Okay. All right. So I don't know if it'll pick it up, but I am curious if it does. So let's try it.
Yeah, you'll find out along with us.
Because here we've got Firestore, and now that we have Firestore,
yeah. And you know what? This does make sense because maybe does this seem like an app hosting versus static hosting difference? Because static hosting had me passing that authentication because it's just any other static file. But then app hosting, it's more like managed resources. Like it is creating. I don't know. Maybe I'm drawing a distinction in my head that isn't there.
I think you're right that there's a distinction, but I don't think it's. I think it is kind of app hosting versus hosting, but only because it's client side versus server side.
Okay.
So with app hosting, you can do Next.js things, which is server side, and maybe that's the small step that we take. I am trying to take a huge leap here, so we'll keep this, but let's just export a function here because I am just getting excited and way ahead of myself. So we'll say export const, and we'll say exactly this. Yes. Oh, wow.
Wow.
That was cool. It's only angry because it doesn't have a type, but our message is going to have the type of text and string.
Yeah.
Oh, that was cool.
That is nifty.
That was cool. The chat is very much down the NPC and AI conversation. I think we're doing two separate events here, so I'm just going to start pulling those in as the random words. But this is to me pretty phenomenal because
that was a big chunk of functionality just pulled in basically with unprompted. It does always feel a little bit like spooky, but in a good way. It's like it kind of types ahead of what you're thinking.
Okay, well now I really want to push it. So here, this is going to be.
You're going to call add message.
Add message. Except we're going to have to pass back. Yeah, we're going to pass back the text. That's exactly what I want to do.
Do you have to structure that object? Text, like having text as the key and then text as the value?
Yeah, so this is in JavaScript. If you have something that's like text : text, you can get rid of the right-hand side.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of that. But yes, you can
Unboxing,
do this.
Maybe.
Say that again?
Unboxing, maybe?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think I feel like I've read up on that for TypeScript once. Anyways, yeah, very cool.
All right. So another thing that's kind of wild is this is going to run on the client, and this is running on the server.
Okay.
I'm going to comment this out for now. I'm going to comment everything out just to make sure that I'm taking small steps, and when things break, which they absolutely will, console.log. I just want it to log the text.
Right.
So let's log that message. We're going to take a small step here. Okay, so just to clarify my next steps, the application is running. I'm going to go over here and we are going to type the text lemon lightning.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to say click me. And I'm going to go back over here. And what I want is to see that over here. And I do not. Okay, where did that error occur? So we've got add message, which
it already knows about add message from actions.
Yep, it pulled that in for me from actions.
I wonder, so on change should fire well before we're off and click the button.
Yep, and let's actually test that. So here we'll add a paragraph, we'll add a p tag, and we'll just show the text here.
You know what? I think the issue might be on line 21 where wouldn't we have to pass in text in the first bracket?
It should pull it from up here. It should know that we're getting the text from up here.
Okay. We did also get a good question in the chat here. Is there a convert text to image function in Google Cloud? Yes, there is. Kind of. There's a bunch of ways you could get that done. You could do it with like a pre-built model on Vertex. You could call something like Imagine, our like image generation API or model. There are a lot of ways to get that done. One of the ways to get it done is actually covered in the first season of this live stream. We built an app called Image Bucket that would take a request for an image, generate an image from that text prompt, and then store it in cloud storage. So I will add a link here to when we do that. I think it was episode 3 of the last season, but good question.
Cool. Thank you for talking through that while I throw up some debugging here. So
Yeah.
here I'm just going to try and log it on the client side and log it on the server side. That's my current attempt that I'm making. So here this should be, maybe it doesn't know that this is supposed to run. Oh, right now it's use server. Do I have to call out that this is on the server side? Maybe. I'm still getting used to how server actions work here. Okay, so this is lemon. I'm not seeing it still on the server. Oh, do I need to return? I don't think so. Use server. This is our client. Use client. I don't think I need use server. I think I'm making a mistake here somewhere.
Use server. Is there? I'm just wondering if the function is even being called.
Oh, that's exactly why I did what I did, was to test that. Oh, okay. I don't think this was hot reloading. Okay, we got text lemon on the client and on the server. Refresh the page, folks. That's the moral.
That's hilarious because one of the first things I said was, I'm assuming there's a hot reload. It'll work great. Moving on.
There is when you do it in that like side-by-side view that we had to begin with, but then we decided that text was too small, which I think was correct.
Yeah.
But now I think we've broken the hot reload in some way.
And that makes sense. Maybe hot reload is just disabled when it's an out of focus tab for like resource saving reasons.
That makes sense.
Okay.
So now we're gonna just see if we can throw Firestore in here.
Let's see how much of this Gemini got right.
Yeah, so I'm gonna install.
So yeah, with dependencies here, do you have to manually run npm install and things like that before trying to, like, I guess also, is this without EX, like I saw the word workstation somewhere in that output. So is this like a consistent or persistent workspace for you? And you can install your stuff there and it'll be there next time you spin it up?
I think so, but I don't know the like underpinnings and like how all of that works.
Fair enough.
Well enough to know the actual answer. Like my gut tells me yes, but I don't want to say that on the record. And
that's
then
fair.
Somebody.
To our knowledge, yes, but could be wrong.
Yes.
And it also could change. This is very new. So
absolutely. Okay. Let's see if this makes the red squigglies go away. So yes, you do need to manually install it on your own. It will not install it for you.
Fair enough.
Which I think is what I'd like. Yeah. If I was less confident that these were the actual libraries, I would also check NPM to make sure that I know that library squatting or module squatting is something that people are doing now. So
very prominent attack
that might be typoed, or GenAI might give you the wrong thing. Be careful.
Very fair.
All right, so I've got add message, And I think I just want to send back the whole message. I don't think I even want to wrap it.
Fair enough.
And let's see. Let's see if it adds it to Firestore. That would be absolutely wild. Something is angry about something. Let's see what.
It doesn't like use server.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't think this is a thing.
It says it must be at the very top.
Oh, okay. And before it was at the top because we had commented out everything else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if you need use server. I'm just throwing it in there for
let me
paranoid.
I would have thought the default. Perfect.
All right. So I'm expecting something to break here. I don't know what.
Okay. It doesn't look like anything broke. Did it make it all the way to Firestore, though?
Is requesting. Oh, interesting. Do you see this? So do you trust this workspace? This workspace is requesting access to authenticate Google Cloud using your Google account.
Is that on the... No, that doesn't make sense when it would be writing to Firestore. But what is it? I'm just wondering why now, because I'm
trying to post to Firestore.
It's asking for Firestore access as the request is being fulfilled by the user?
That's super cool. If this works, so here it asked me to authenticate and I authenticated, and now it's asking me what project. And the project is this one that we're using over here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say confirm.
Okay, post in, that waited for your confirmation there.
No way.
Wow. It asked for the authentication live. I've never seen that before.
What?
Okay. Interesting. So you made the request. You didn't have the authenticate, like the permission set up properly before.
No.
But then in order to fulfill the request, it asked for them and completed the request while waiting for you. Interesting. I've never seen that before.
I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
And like with that, we have actually completed what we had advertised for this thing. It feels like that flew by. It still feels like we're just getting started.
This is, I mean, it's not full CRUD, but this is a full stack application in the sense that it's got a front end, a back end, and a database.
Yeah.
This is our back end here.
Yeah.
Wow, this is wild. This is absolutely wild. Like how, okay. So just in case folks are new to React, let's walk through what's going on here. So we've got our input. So this is this text box here where we're making changes. And as we add a new change, all right, this time it's going to be lightning. And I'll say, click me. And when I say click me, it's running this add new message, which is our client side function here, which is then calling our server side function
add message
here, add message. And all add message is doing is it's logging it to the console. It's logging the message to the console. Here we got lightning. And then
in case you missed it, that was the front end back end jump. Like that was from page TSX, the top of the function. That was JavaScript on the client side. Now we're on JavaScript on the server side. We have crossed from front end to back end.
Yeah. And if we wanted, I think we could get even wilder where we write this code on the client and we just add the use server quotes there.
Oh, interesting.
But I don't think we want to do that right now because I think this is going to get built out and be more complex. But
I like this. I like the simplicity of this. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is our front end, which is like it's this. This is our function. And then this is our back end. And things are already getting sent to the database because this wildly asked me to authenticate. And now it is using my user permissions and it asked me, what project is this for? And I said, it's for Firebase Appos FAH 0004. And it was like, cool, I'll save it in that database.
So mystery solved as far as how it authenticates. It literally just asked you as you were building. That's, yeah, I could not have thought of an easier dev environment setup to get just going and writing as fast as possible.
That's super cool. All right. So now I feel like the question I have, and maybe this is disinteresting to you, but I want to see what happens when I add ability to post a message.
Yes, that is an important breakpoint to commit.
Would you like to do this? Yes, always. Okay, don't show again. I can't get over that.
I am blown away by that. So I'm wondering if that would work with other APIs, like other services we'd want to authenticate to. Like, would it pull up like a AI platform permissions prompt if you called something that needed it and you didn't have it set up yet?
Let's try it with Vertex.
Because yeah, there was some real glue code in there to try the request, see that you had insufficient permissions, ask you for them, and authenticate based on your user credentials. Like, that is interesting.
Yeah. All right, let's make this. So we're gonna say it wants to do get messages, which I think is, I mean, that's definitely the next thing we should do. But I'm almost more interested because people have been asking about the AI side of things, and we've technically checked the box that we promised people we would check prior to this, and the people in the chat seem interested in like the AI side of things.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll say export const, and this is going to be our, what is this? Our emoji translator?
Yes. So it seems like we're translating a message into an emoji response, and then hopefully we can store that in Firestore alongside our message.
Emoji. Okay. And
at this point, it's hard to believe we're already an hour into the stream, but yeah, at this point we are in the bonus round. We're trying to see if we can really spice up these suggestions from the audience because we do appreciate them.
Yeah. So here, what we are trying to do, just to make sure that the two of us are on the same page.
Yes.
When we get a message, I would like to do two things. I'd like to save the text of the message, and I'd like to save the emoji translation.
Yes, agreed.
Okay.
And we can store that in the same Firestore record. We can just add a field that's like emoji translation, and I think that'd be very interesting. We have another suggestion from motivational videos. Can it return emojis and images along with text? That is an interesting proposition. That is another layer on there, but it's possible for sure. That'd be mixing in the functionality of like image bucket from last season in with this. I don't know if we'll have time to do it in the next 20 minutes, but that is a cool thought. I like that.
Yeah, I think that is it's like a limit on our time constraints right now. Would it have to link to the same emoji?
A great question. No, you're not asking too many questions. Would it have to link to an emoji directory or database? No. Because like a lot of like the model that I'm assuming we're going to be calling is a text generation model, and like emojis are just a character set. So it should already understand all the possible emojis and some keywords that associate to those emojis. And so I don't think we'll have to link to anything external to get this basic functionality done. And even if we were to take the image generation mix in, shouldn't be any different than interpreting other text and getting an image generation out of it. It's all just taking the noise of whatever you're talking about and trying to diffuse it into a coherent image response. So the model should be all you need for both of these use cases. Very good question.
Okay. Now what I want to do is add Vertex AI. So let's import Vertex AI. I don't think it's going to help. I think I'm pretty. Ooh.
Okay. Is that the right import though? Because I've had sometimes where it generates almost the exact right import.
Yeah, let's check. Because I think this is an extra hyphen.
Maybe add npm there.
Yeah, that's a good call. And then the registry will pull up.
Yeah, you're right. No hyphen.
No hyphen. What about the @ symbol? Yes, the @ symbol is correct. The hyphen is not. Okay. npm install that.
Interesting.
And let's see. So we've got it. And what do we want to do? What is the...
I think all we'll need to get the emoji use case done is a text model. So you could use the docs there suggested Gemini 1.0 Pro as the text model. I think that's a lot. That's a lot of model for emoji image generation. You could use Gemini 1.5 Flash. You could stick with the Pro model. That's totally fine. But yeah, I think all we needed was really in that first example. I wonder how much of it Gemini Code Assist can pull out of the ether, though.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we're looking at something like this equals new vertex AI, and I think we have to pass the location, which we've done everything in. Oh, yeah, I'll do US Central 1, although Firebase was North America. I don't think that's going to matter.
I don't think so. It might increase some latency, but that's totally fine.
And then we need the project, right? Yeah.
And to be clear, you have not enabled the AI platform service on this project beforehand?
Yes.
So I wonder if this is a general feature, if it will just ask for permission if you don't have it yet, or if this is a specific hosting and DB thing. Very curious.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, because it asked for... Did it ask to enable Firestore?
It seemed like it was
to enable Firestore because I picked the project, and by the time I picked the project, it was already enabled because we had gone to the Firebase.
It was just like, which account are you using and which project are you using? Those were the only questions. And then it seemed to know what it needed to get done to fulfill the request.
Yes.
So I'm wondering if it'll follow the same pattern with this one. We'll see.
But so in my mind, the difference is that the API was something we enabled when we created this project over here in the console.
Right.
Whereas with Vertex, I don't think that API is enabled. So my guess is that we'll get blocked here and we'll have to go and manually enable the API.
Totally reasonable.
I think that's an interesting question.
Yeah. In either case, I have faith in our error messaging. I think we'll get a discernible response.
Cool.
Oh, there's one more suggestion that I missed here. Maybe it could be an AI directory that builds upon it, and the emojis use GenAI too. Now I think we're really building this into like, this could be a service, really. Like this could be a living AI directory, and I do like that. Maybe this could be like something we take with us between different sessions. Interesting. Using GenAI to add more emojis in like a public collaborative way. Yeah, if we had another 90 minutes, I think I'd be following down that trail.
Do most of your sessions end up with like, at the beginning you're like, we're not really sure, and then by the end it's like, whoa, we've got 4 million ideas?
That is a lot of our suggestions, and that is what I love about this stream, that you can kind of walk in and have a bit of an idea, and then we figure out together what the most interesting direction to go in is. And the hardest part is just figuring out how much of it we can bite off in one stream. Yeah, but this has been a great session. I really do appreciate everybody chiming in chat. You're definitely not like putting us on the spot, bothering us. We're here for this. The interaction is what we're here for. So we love it.
I want to know.
Picking out a model.
I want to. How do I say Flash? What is the like text string for that?
It is Gemini -1.5 Flash. Yeah, I just used this one on a blog post. Yeah.
Okay, and then I need to use this model.
Yes. So now that we have the model, I believe there's like a text generation call for Vertex AI. I'm using the Java client library knowledge rather than the JavaScript one, so take my suggestions with a grain of salt.
Yep. Okay, so here's where we add our text, and we're going to add some wrapper around this. That is, translate this text to emoji text. Well, yep, that's exactly what I want to do.
Okay. So it must have inferred that from the name of the function, is what I'm guessing.
Yep, I think that's right.
That is eerie, but cool. That is
Emoji.
Oh, and you know what? We misspelled translate on line 12, but then it spelled it properly on 17.
Wow.
Interesting.
Cool. All right. And then I think we've got to await this.
Yes.
Wait, because it's a promise. Const response.
And Kaio, welcome to the chat. You're not late. You're perfectly on time. We're glad to have you here. We are about to finish building a service that takes text that's supplied by the user and translates it to an emoji and stores both the text and the emoji in Firestore. Built on Next.js, tiny app, tiny front end, tiny back end. A lot of power packed into the little package.
Is
So
that
we're
right?
pulling out the emoji translation here before we store them individually.
Yeah. So here, what is this? I'm trying to figure out the right candidates. 0 content.
I thought there was a
it's-
helper field that was like text content rather than, because you have the option to look at like the confidence scores of all of the candidate responses, but you don't have to, I believe.
Okay.
That might be, let me see if I can find you a sample. That might be listed in the like the front page of the docs there.
Response dot. No, all I see is candidates. So I'm going to take the first one. Take the first one.
And I am loving these text suggestions or these field suggestions. It feels like it is like actually very built up classes and responses.
0. What do we have? Text. Okay. I feel good about that. That seems right. Is possibly undefined. Okay, so here, this is TypeScript being angry because it's like, hey, not all of these responses will have this. So we're going to say that.
And that's entirely
First, we're going to do the thing where we add TypeScript, and then we're going to tell it to go ahead and ignore that.
Oh, fair enough. TS expect error. Interesting. I've used TS ignore, but not TS expect error.
So the nice thing about TS expect error is if at some point you fix this error or like you upgrade to a new version of TypeScript and it's smart enough to like figure it out and that this will be defined or something, then it will underline and say, hey, you can get rid of this.
Oh, that is nice.
So I like TS expect error. It's nice.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got our emoji translation, which is what we're going to return here.
Perfect.
And maybe we do log it. Emoji.
Why not? Why not even log the whole response so we could see what we're working with the other?
Oh, sure.
Because yeah, I think response candidates sounds roughly right. I also thought there was predictions as a field, but that might be for image generation specifically. So we'll see.
Okay, so we're going to log resp.response. Okay, all right, we've got our emoji translation here. Translate text to emoji. We're returning that. Okay, I am very curious to see how this goes.
Me too.
Before we do that, I kind of want to, and maybe this is just building suspense here, but did we deploy our other versions?
To Cloud Run, yeah, important.
And now my question is, does this go back to Firestore? So happy taco.
I wonder.
Click me.
It does.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. We've added no config.
Yeah. So it is this. I'm kind of confused actually. Is that a Next.js feature?
I'm going to say allow.
Oh yeah, maybe there's just no authentication required because we've opened it up for this time frame.
Well, it's the admin API.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we're using the admin SDK. So if I say if right, can I say allow read write false? What is that? Develop and test. I want to make this false because I think it will still work.
If you open up the rules playground on the bottom left there, I believe you can
Okay, maybe this isn't the tangent that we take, because I do want to get the emoji working. Okay,
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay, we've got it. Oh, it's angry because I paused too long at some point on some incorrect state.
That may have been what killed it last time as well. And yeah, Kaio, absolutely. This, as much as we usually publish like, polished samples, I think there's a lot of value in the live, like a couple developers figuring it out, like learning in public format as well, because not everything is a quick start, and it's important to show how we think through that too, in my opinion.
All right, 403 forbidden. Okay, here we go. All right, so this aligns with what I was saying earlier, where I don't think we've enabled the API, so I don't think it will have that. But it does give us this URL right here.
A very helpful link.
Enable.
Okay, so then so it doesn't seem like, it seems like that was a very nice, like, sugary addition specifically for Firestore enabling, that was handed to us.
For Firestore enabling? I think
no. Yeah, no. It was when we were trying to write to Firestore, because we'd already deployed. Or what do you
so I hopped back and forth between two things. So one thing I think is really cool is we're already posting, we're making posts, even though we didn't give it the project name, it sensed the project that it was within in Cloud Run, and it is able to hit that endpoint. And now I wonder if we can do the same thing on the Firebase app hosting one. Sorry, does that make sense? I feel like I'm jumping all over the place.
I think it does. It is significant that we're able to, that it inferred the authentication in both Cloud Run and Firebase hosting, app hosting.
Firebase, hello.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's see if our Firestore database has both of those. Happy Taco, Firebase, hello. Okay, so our local dev, our Cloud Run, and our Firebase app hosting are all able to accept messages now. And we have given it no information.
Very cool.
We've given it nothing. And it's just like, yep, I know because you're here. And that this isn't even the Vertex part yet.
No.
It's just like, because you said initialize app, I'm going to go figure out where I am.
Low touch setup. Yeah, one more question here. We got, can we just paste an image and see if it returns the image? Unfortunately, right now, since we're set up for text generation, we can't paste an image in as a prompt. But it is possible with other models that are multimodal to take both text and image prompts and just see what it gives you.
All right. Happy Lightning.
Happy Lightning.
And I'm curious to see.
Actually.
Because we logged the whole response. So what do we have in Firestore? Did we end up with something?
So we did. We have our first emoji translation.
There it is. We're living in the future.
It is an unordered list of emojis, but it is all the information is there. Maybe we can zoom in a bit on this page.
Yeah. Okay. So there we are. And I don't know if this is an unordered list or if it's just in some languages you apply the modifier after. So maybe it's saying this lightning is happy.
That's true. But yeah,
let's make this a super long sentence. Like, I feel like we're toward the end here. So what I'd like to do is give it like a really long sentence, have it work one time, walk back through the code so that everybody can see what's going on, which is wild because we've got Firestore and we've got AI here. And this is silly and not the direction I thought we were going, but this is terrific. So let's get like all of the random words.
Yeah, let's just take lightning.
Hey, lemon. What else?
The fireworks were great. Fireworks were a gift. The basketball was an AI NPC, and the whole operation was idempotent. Well, maybe we can find a shorter way to put that all in, but
Operation was idempotent.
Rose apple. Those are two more words we got.
What a terrific way to celebrate the Rose Apple Festival.
Amazing.
There
we got
go.
all in there.
All right. So this is what we've typed here. This absurd string, and we're just gonna say, all right, Flash, figure it out.
Yep. Do your best, Gemini.
Good luck. Okay. And let's do this as a walkthrough, and then we'll do the big reveal at the end to see what it ended up as, and hope that it worked. So this is the text string. If we go back to our code, we've got our button that adds a new message, and this add new message right here logs to the console.
Is that the Chrome console exclusively, or would it also be here?
So we logged it to both. So
Yeah.
this console log is the Chrome console.
Okay.
But when we pass it back to add message, this is our server, and our server will log it to this console right here. So we should see that.
And I see that we passed in 57 tokens according to that console log.
Yep. So here we've got Happy Lightning and a lemon, the fireworks for a gift. And so that was this console log. And then we did our emoji translation. So here we requested Vertex to translate this text to emoji. And hopefully we only have emoji back, and that came back in this response. And I like that we logged this resp.response because we can look at it without ruining the punchline here. So it gave us back this object. And yeah, we've got a total token count of 57, prompt token count of 44. Oh, so this tells us whatever we're getting, the emoji is 13 tokens long.
So it's also a compression algorithm because, the response is shorter. So double feature.
There you go. This is truly the world's greatest compression algorithm. You take all the text you have, you compress it down into emoji. If we had more time, we should do a reverse translation to see if we can get it from emoji to text.
That would be fun.
Okay. All right. Let's do the grand reveal here.
Drum roll, please.
Drum roll, please.
Okay.
Wow. Look at that.
That looks coherent.
Happy
we got a happy
lightning,
face.
ate a lemon. The fireworks. Here we are, fireworks. Were a gift. The basketball was an AI NPC. We got the robot. And the whole operation, I think that's what the spinner is here.
Was idempotent. Pretty good.
What a terrific way to celebrate the Rose Apple. I'm surprised we didn't get a rose.
We didn't get a rose.
I'm surprised we didn't get a rose, but I think that's okay to celebrate the Rose Apple Festival.
Amazing. Dan, I'm glad you stuck through to the very end with us. You were the first suggestion here with a word, and I hope you feel that we got there. I believe that little loop emoji is for you, and I think we did it. Like we've touched a lot here. We launched a Next.js app in shockingly few lines of code. Got it putting things into Firestore with no config somehow. And then we managed to work in all the ideas from the audience. Every word ended up getting in there from the chat. I'm proud of that. We had great engagement with the chat. I hope you're all willing to join us for our last episode not next week, but the week after, because we're taking a break for Juneteenth. But it's been a ton of fun, both the season in general and having you here, Luke. Is there anything else you want to say about your appearance on our database season here?
No, thank you so much for the invite. I learned a ton today, and so much of this just worked magically out of the box. This was a lot of fun. Thanks for the invite. Thanks for having me. Hope to be back next season.
Absolutely. That would be great. And to all of you who tuned in, thank you very much. We will see you in 2 weeks. But it's been great. So it is goodbye from me.
Goodbye. Thank you.